Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So today, grab your safari hats because we are going into the wild, which is the Hunkydory new Decolarge collection that was released last week. I'm going to have a little play with the leader of the pack, the lion, today. I'm not making a card as such, but it is called a pop-up card. So I have made one before, but it was for Christmas. So I thought it would suit this round topper, so I thought I'd have another little go. Another good thing about this is you're able to use up some of those odd bits of cardstock you might have. So I'm going to be using some of that cardstock that was dented from that delivery. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is 9.5 inches long. So 9.5. There, and I need two pieces that are 1.5 in width. So I've got one, and we've got two. Put them there because we know we need those. Then this next longest piece needs to be 8 inches, and it needs to be 2 inches wide. There, just separate those out, and then I need two pieces that are going to be 6.5 by 2. So 6.5, and both of them need to be 2 inches. So it's quite important that these two pieces are exactly the same because they are a continuation piece, so just check them against each other, make sure they line up pretty nicely. It's not so bad the lengthways, sorry, but the widthways, obviously it would affect the look of the actual thing. Okay, so I'll pop that away for a second. We'll work on our creases and a little bit of assembly, and then I'll do some layers while that is drying. So for the piece that's 2 by 6.5, nice easy scores at 2 inches, 4 inches and 6 inches, and we're doing that on both of them. 2, 4 and 6. And on the piece that's 2 by 8, we're doing exactly the same thing. 2, 4 and 6. Now this one is the tricky one, the 9.5 by 1.5. So we need to score at 1/2 inch, 1 1/4, 2 inches, 2 3/4 and 3 1/2. And then we're going to drop over to number 5, so 5 inches, 5 3/4, 6 1/2, 7 1/4, and just in the end there 8. We need to do the same thing on both of these. So this is the spring mechanism. So just give you those measurements again. So 1/2, 1 1/4, 2, 2 3/4, 3 1/2. Skipping over to the 5, 5 3/4, 6 1/2, 7 1/4, and just sneaking in on my board 8. Okay. So this piece here, this is our actual spring mechanism. So we're just doing mountain and valley folds. And this one, it's good not to burnish it down because you want it to be quite springy. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use my tacky glue. Bring in 2 of my little clips. And then that just goes onto the bottom of there. Put a clip on. Put it on, and you can see that's the sort of shape it's going to make. We're going to do exactly the same with this piece as well. Like I say, not burnishing them down too much, because we are going to squash them in to the center of our box, and that's what's going to make it pop up. So I'm just going to pop that onto there. Some different clips here. These are just clips I've sort of, these are sewing machine sewers clips, and you can get loads of them on AliExpress for a couple of quid. I think there was 50 in a pack. I bought a pack for the garden as well, putting netting on things. They're perfect for that. And then these ones we do need to give a nice burnish down. So this is the center of our mechanism, and these are our outside parts of the box. And these would be perfect if you've got any snow globe, either dyes or Hunkydory. Okay, and then what I'm going to do just with one of these, you can use your red liner tape if you like. Actually, I've put the glue on the wrong side, but that's no problem. What I'll do is I will just turn that over. I'll put that there. And I can always just go and fold those scores back in the right way if I need to, which I will. Okay, so eventually that will go together like that once we've got to the point of assembling. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just put that back on. I haven't got any more clips, but I shouldn't really need it. Just get that nice and straight. And there. And I'm going to, actually I'm just going to trim that, so it did look pretty straight, but there's just an edge there. So, okay, so we can leave that to dry. So what we can do now is concentrate on our layers. So you've got a couple of choices here. You can just go in with your papers, or like I'm going to do, I'm going to go in with a gold matte layer first of all. So the only place I need to do layers for is this long piece here. So we've got all of these little blocks that are 2 by 2. So that's the size that we need to make the mats for. So I'm just going to go 2 notches under the 2. And then just cut myself a load of little mats. So we need 6 altogether. 1, 2. We've got 4 there, and then we just need another 2. And it is a very small space, so I mean, if you wanted to do this piece out of some coloured cardstock or even out of the gold mirror card, and then put the base on, do the base that way, it, you know, it would make sense. Okay, so for these bits to go on here, I'm going to take the top bit off here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 notches under the 2. No, I'm not. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take just a little border off that top, like that. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to try and keep this floral in. So 1, 2, so if I go 4 notches under the 2, and it's not going to do all of my layers, but it's going to do a good amount of them. So again, we're going to go 4 notches under the 2. 4, 5. Might get all of them. I didn't think I would do, but hey ho. It's even better than I thought. 2, 4, 6. So let me just check that those fit nicely onto there. And they do. Okay, that's better than I thought. I thought I wouldn't. I had a little backup plan for the last piece, but that is good. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to decorate this piece because it is easier to do it now before you start to assemble it. Okay. So I'm going to be using my Decolarge all-purpose glue. I'm going to be using my tacky glue. And I think, do I want them going up or do I want them coming down? I think I'm going to have them going up. So just being a little bit careful with my all-purpose glue with the foil card. Just going to go ahead, pop those on, just making sure I avoid any of those score lines that we've done. And I'm putting the all-purpose glue in the corners just so that I've got a nice quick stick, because we will be manipulating this in a second. And I don't want my layers to be moving. So just working my way along. And this is quite a quick card to make, really. It's not a lot to it, and it is quite a nice look to it. You know, it looks like it's taken a long time, which is always what we want, isn't it? We want people to think we spent hours over their card. And I think this style of card would be perfect for, you know, somebody younger, because it's a bit different, you know, and when it comes out of an envelope it will pop. Although I would probably put it in a box envelope rather than an envelope, because it is quite chunky, so it wouldn't be going as letterpost, let's put it that way. Okay, so get those on nice and straight, and then we can go in with this top layer. And I wonder how many of you have got this kit. I know a couple of people have said to me on Facebook that they've got it. So, these don't particularly have to match up, because you don't see them all from the same angle, really. Okay. And if you, the only problem I guess with this card is there isn't a lot of space to write, if any. What you could do is, instead of sticking these down flat like I'm doing here, you could just stick down the edges, sort of down here and here, and then just pop a tag in instead. Right, so these are trying to move, so that is not good news for me. Let's just give them all a good press down so glue makes contact. those back into position. And I'm going to pop to the side. So I'm going to bring back in these pieces here, pop those back in my safe place. Okay, and then for these, they need to be stuck together, so I am going to use a little bit of red liner glue with these. You can go with your tacky glue and leave them again. I just want a bit of security there, just giving that down. Then I've got no nails to peel the backs off. And then I'm going to pop some tacky glue around. And then this one just goes straight onto there. So now we've got that mechanism like so. What I am going to do while I've got this out is I'm just going to put, if I can find the end, there it is. One little piece on both ends for when we come to glue that together. Okay. Just wondering why they are taking so long to go off. Going to give those a second, bear with me, I'll come back in 5 minutes. Okay, so those are a lot more secure now, not moving. That one is just a tiny bit, but we'll be a little bit careful of it. Okay, so you're going to tip this round upside down. Make sure you've got it the way that it's going to be up. So I know this is going to be the bottom of my box, so I've put it this way so that I know that's where I'm going. I have, just while I was waiting for those to dry, just put some super sticky tape on these pieces here on both ends, a little bit on the end of here. There was already some on there. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece of the sticky off there and I'm going to put some glue all over there, and on the center one we're just going to match that up. So it's going directly over, just making sure you keep within those score lines a bit. It doesn't matter too much because it never folds flat on this side. It sort of is as a sort of an octagon sort of shape really. Okay, so that's there. And then I'm going to take the sticky off here. She says she doesn't, because she can't. There we go. Oh no. Here we go. We've got it. Okay, and then again a little bit of tacky glue, quite a bit of tacky glue actually, and this is going into the middle of there, like so. Okay. So where we're at the moment is we've got this one on that middle piece. So we've got the tab, a square. This is where all the work is on this square, and then another square, another square, another square, another square at the moment. Okay. So I'm going to fold that down. This is the bit that's the trickiest, if I'm honest with you. I need to get the backing off there, and again I'm going to use my tacky glue. You could use your glue gun if you wanted to, and then I'm going to bring this piece over and I'm going to try and keep it as straight as possible over there and pop that down. And then while I'm doing that and holding it down, peel that sticky off, and we're going to bring that over to line up with that middle one there. And we can hold that down. And then, just because it is a bit easier to hold it down and work, if you can do that, that's fine. I don't have a problem just holding that down and working. I have a problem showing you, but you can sort of let it dry and then come back. So I'm just going to pop that down, and then we want that just to marry up nicely onto there, and we can give that a good press down. Okay, so it should, you can see it's stuck quite quickly, but it pops. Okay, so that's the start and the mechanism for the card. Okay, so what I can do is I can pop that to the side, and I can work on my decoupage, the best bit. So I'm going to pop out my topper, and I think we've got Courage Rewards the Brave, Have a Roarsome Day. I think we'll go with that, Have a Roarsome Day. Like I say, we sort of got a child in mind for this card. We could go with a roar, but I don't think we will. Okay, so let's build up our decoupage. So I'm not doing any other supporting mats and layers with this. This is going to go directly onto my card. So as the way decoupage always works, it's the largest image first. So, and I'm not going to be using all of these layers because I want to use some on the base sheet. I want to make another card, so I'm just going to try and make my kit go as far as I can. And that's pretty much always what I do, unless I've got a card for somebody that I really like, or when Mum used to tell me to, because Mum was a believer in using every bit of decoupage they gave you. Okay, so we've got the circle base to guide us at the bottom, but I'm just going to line up. Let's have a look. So that's going there. There's his ear. So it's just a case of just getting that round in the right place and on. And the foam pads I've used on these are Hunkydory, and they are the 1mm ones. So I'm going to skip the next layer and go on to what I believe is layer 3. So we've lost a lot of the bodies, and we've got some beautiful lion head and the baby. So just be careful popping it out. So it can be a little bit tagged in at places, so you don't want to rip your decoupage. Okay, and I always put a little bit of tacky glue on just to give me a bit of wiggle room time. And again, we're coming back in with our pod there, want that over the top. There we go, that's right. So the next one would be that one. And we've got this one here with the paws holding her little bubba. Again, tacky glue. And I tend to make up these decoupages flat now. Once upon a time I used to do it with 3D glue gel and shape them all. It's just preference on what you want to do, really. There's him, and then as well, so we'll put her head in, then we'll do the paws, and then we'll do his little head. And I think we will take this leaf just because this is, although I haven't put a foam pad on that, so we will have to just get one. And I think we'll take that one as well. And then we'll leave those for the next one. So again, just taking these pads off. Just going to pop a little, it's not a little, is it? It's a big massive paw in. Again, you can use your tweezers to help you place any of these if you want to. Sometimes it's an idea to give you, use them to give yourself a bit of a view. Oops, Mama's head. And then just need one little foam pad. I'm gonna have to cut just full speed. There we go. I'm just going to take the back off there. And I'm going to pop this one onto there. Okay, so you can see if I hold that way, you can see all of that dimension, and I've only used half of it, so it really does look like these characters are coming out of our scene. Okay, so then we're going to pop this one onto here. I think just to give myself a little step ahead, I am going to grab some scissors. I'm just going to pop a little bit of that red liner tape on there. You don't have to. I think it would probably stick okay because it's not super heavy. Let's get that backing off. And I'm going to pop some glue all over just for a good bit of stick. And then it's just going to be a case of just lining that up so that you're happy. Obviously we want it sort of center on. I think about there is good for me, so you can see that's going to pop up like so on a shelf. Result. And then this one, I think, shall I put that across the bottom? Should I have it coming across? I think I'm just going to go nice and high on that bottom one, so I'm going to use some Crafter's Companion ones. Unfortunately these are the tiny ones, but they are 5mm approximately. There we go. And then it's just a case of taking more backs off. So this is the thing that takes the time on these cards if you're using foam pads. So tacky glue, let's turn it up the right way around so that anybody can read it, and then we're going to pop that onto the centre. So we've got our awesome day. And then I think we come in with some of these shiny gems that I love. Pop some out. really only want the huge ones, I think. So maybe that one, that one, and that one. Should we go with 5? Yeah, I think we'll go with 5 because you know what, I don't do even numbers. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. It's my little picky up tool. Into there, and that glue will dry clear. Oops. And then on this side, just going to put the 2. And bring in one of these teeny tiny daubers just to take out a little bit of glue. Dries clear, but, and these are also moved, which is annoying. Just a little fiddly in the hands, but like I say, all of that glue does dry clear. Just going to tease those into place. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave that now. So that is our card number 1. If you wanted to, you do have a little space here, so you know there may be some way that you can incorporate a little insert in there, pop a tag on there like I say, or you could pop it into a pocket at the back. You could even write there. I think there's enough room there to write. It just would be difficult to write on top of that decoupage. Possibly include a little, if you're selling these, possibly include a little sticker for them to write on and then just pop it on there maybe. There's a couple of ideas on how you could get around that. But yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. That's suits that little topper quite nicely. Doesn't use a lot of cardstock, so we've still got most of the backing sheet there to use. Let me just bring that backing sheet in, and obviously this matches up to that decoupage, so you can go ahead and lay that over the top. So I was in 2 minds, let me just put that into the side. So I was in 2 minds whether to come in and just do a sort of more plain card with this, or whether to come in with a different animal. So what I'm going to do, just give me a couple of seconds just to clear down the deck, and then we'll decide where we go from there. Okay, so I've decided to come back in and use the rest of this lion up, because otherwise it may sit in my kit for a while. I might forget about it, it could get damaged, so I decided to use it. So I've got a 6x12 card blank, and I'm going to do sort of a reverse easel, because I've got such a lot of that cardstock there. You know, I've got enough to do this, make that into a topper and do this card. So, and I'm going to be using the insert as well as part of the papers. So my 6x12 card is 300 GSM white card, and I'm scoring at 3 and at 6. And I'm just going to bring that over, push that one down, and then this one push back like so. Okay, so let's get that trimmer in and we can get to work. So again, I'm going to be using the 6x6 Miri mats in the rich gold, just because we've got that gold foiling on there. And I need a piece for the bottom, so that's going to be my usual 2 notches under the 6 and 2 notches under the 6. Just check that fits quite nicely. Okay, And I'm going to take another one, and I'm going to take that to, for this piece here we need 2 notches under 3 inches and 2 notches under 2. I'm going to pop that back in the pack because that will come in, and I'm going to check there. Okay, so I'm going to take this across, and I'm only going to be using part of the sky for the top, so I'm going to bring that to 4 notches under the 6 that way, and then 4 notches under the 3. I thought this is lovely, but it would look wrong at the top. Okay, so just checking that fits nicely onto there, and it does. So we've still got a beautiful piece of card there. We will not be throwing that away. So this we're going to turn into our topper. So I'm going to trim down a little bit up to the edge of his mane, and I think I'm going to go, we'll go 4 inches. We'll lose a little bit of his tail, but that's fine. And then I'm going to go 4 notches under the 6. And then I need another piece of gold, another scrap here, so I can go 2 notches under the 6 and 2 notches over the 4, and that should be a perfect map for that. Okay, looking good. So let's pop that out of the way. Hopefully that should be all the cutting we need to do. So let's do a little bit of assembling. So I'm going to do this piece first, because obviously I'm going to build my decoupage on here, and I may need to do some trimming of it over the edges like I did the other day on one of my other videos. So it's going to be better for me if that has had a little bit of time to stick. Okay, so let's go with the base. Oh, the other thing I haven't cut yet is the insert, so I need to do that on my older trimmer, because that paper trimmer does not like paper. Okay, so let's just pop that onto there. Move that out of the way a second. So apologies for the state of this trimmer. I always say I've had it for a very, very long time. I have abused it, I've stuck things on it, but it always seems to do the job, so I don't need to get rid of it. So again, I'm going 4 notches under the 6 and 4 notches under the 6, and that should fit quite nicely onto there. Oh, it does. Okay, so you don't very often see that trimmer, just because I'm very embarrassed about how I've treated it over the years. So because this is paper, the all-purpose glue would probably be alright on there. The tacky glue definitely would not, because there is a water content to it. So lately I have been using these Crafter Companion pens. This happens to be a dotty one, purely because it's the one I've got on my desk at the moment. The only thing I don't like about dotty pens, or any pens like that, is that you have to be, oops, you have to be right. And it's really hard to be right, especially when you've creased all your card up. Okay. So let's try that, hope for the best. It's still not right. Sorry about this, guys. This way I may end up cutting another insert. Alright, I hate to do it, but I've screwed it up too many times. Let me bring that trimmer back in. Luckily we've got the other half of it. So 4 notches under the 6, 3, 4 notches under the 6. Just double check that that does fit on nicely, because it did. Okay, oops. So what I'm going to do, just to give myself a bit of wiggle room time, I am going to use my all-purpose glue, just a little, not tacky, big mistake. I'm just going to use these dots in the corner. I'm hoping that's going to give me that time. Don't know why it's... There we go. There we go. Second time lucky. And probably that's better just to have that and not the lions anyway. But hey ho, I would have liked the lions. Still, if it goes wrong, it goes wrong, and that's what happens sometimes. So I'm going to pop that onto here. And I found in my stash this lovely sort of champagne-y coffee colour ribbon. So I thought I would use some of this. I'm going to cut it in the middle. Might have done it too short now, but hopefully we won't. So I'm just going to tie a knot. So I still want it to be a bit masculine, really. Okay, no, we're fine. Okay, so then a little bit of tape. The leaf is at the top, so we're just going to pop that right there. Give it a good press down. So just pulling that back off. So it doesn't stick to my desk, and I want the satiny sides out. Don't need my other scissors because they are a little sharper. There we go. And down the side. What I'm going to do is just up a little bit. Okay, obviously you can do that knot anywhere you want to. Actually might get covered up by my topper, but we'll see. So I always just put a little bit of tacky glue under my ribbon, and that stops it fraying, and it is just something to stick to, just an extra bit of security. Pop that on. Okay, so that's how our card is looking at the moment. So I think I might actually stick that under the ribbon. Yep, that is good. So let's come in with our decoupage, and then we can trim what we need to trim. So we've already got our backs on everything, so I'm going to pop out the rest of the pieces. So because we've divided it in half, it's not a huge amount, but it's still going to make quite a difference on our card. And that one, got that there, got another lovely big paw. Oops, just trim that round, and one more paw. Okay, so I'm going to start with the largest piece. Just look out for little landlocked areas like that one. Pop that off. Oops, just get the back off there. And there. Oops, I'm throwing things around. A bit tacky glue. And then obviously we haven't got the sort of circle to sort of guide us, so we just have to match up the image as best we can. And what I'm going to do is just bring my knife in underneath there. With a new blade on here, I think. Okay. Probably have to cut a bit off here as well. And I think it's worth doing the cutting each time, because otherwise you just get like a whole chunk there to try and follow the line of the card. So I just find it easier if I do it layer by layer. And again, tacky glue. Need to refill my bottle a bit. I think it's getting a bit low. Just going to pop to there. And again. Grab my scissors. Just a little point there, that was annoying me, that's all. Okay, and then we've just got some paws to do. And again, more tacky glue. Those beautiful big paws. Holding that baby. Got Mama's paw here. That. And then where's this one? Oh, this is her paw area. What I am going to do is just pull my forward and just glue on a little bit. Put that on. Okay, so that is all of those, I believe. Yeah. So then what we need to do now is to pop this onto here. I might go in the center on this one. So I'm just going to take a bit of tacky glue around the edge, just being careful not to go too far down the card, because otherwise it's going to glue behind where we want that to be. Again, I'm just going to pop that under, pop that down. I want that to be around about central, I think. So I'm going to pop that up so it lines up with the base of the card, so it doesn't affect the envelope it goes in. So that should mean that it's quite nice and straight. Okay, so from the actual sheet here, we've got this lovely great big sentiment that says "From our family to yours." Or we could use the raw leader of a pack. We've got a courage rewards the brave. Thinking I might do just Oh, we've got this one here as well. I like this one. This one's a nice border. Let me just cut that one out. This one might be my winner. Put that out of there. Put that one out the way. Go quite high on that, I think, to get sure that stays up quite nice. Yeah. Okay, so let's trim this down. Excuse me, just bring my trimmer back in. Just get a nice straight edge and there. And then we want it just to be 2 notches under the 6, I think. Nicely across. And then let's grab some foam pads. Okay, so I've got this Crafter's Companion one. Just going to bring in my metal ruler because they're a little wider than I need them to be. I'm just going to slice that off. That should fit quite nicely along there. And it will pull apart as so I will be able to spread them apart. Or maybe I won't. Yeah, I do, look, see. End, that end on in there. I'm going to bring in my little ruler so we can get them nice and straight. I think that should be a good place for them. So again, tacky glue, just to give us that little bit of float time. Let's go there. That is looking pretty good. So this one, actually I'll use the same foam pads, I think, to pop this up at the top. We could put it at the bottom, but I think that's just going to spoil that landscape. So there is a bit of a space here, so I'm going to pop that in there, and then we'll have some gems on the bottom. Let's just there. A little bit of tacky glue just onto the back. Then we're going to bring those layers in. Probably could have done with a little bit of a layer under there, but I'm going to live with that. I think it'll be fine. So the next thing I want is some gems. I think I'm going to go with these gold ones again, just because they match this mirror finish of this. Ties it all together. So I'm going to put one on each corner. Pick it all. So we'll pick a nice big one. It's a little bit bigger actually. Just take that one off. There we go. And then I have one, two, three. We have four and a really tiny one. Okay, just clean that nib off. Okay, just make sure that's all in line. Happy with that. And that is where I'm going to leave that at for that one. So I think that's plenty on there. Just to show you how that looks when it's up. Oops. Get back on this because I'm trying to hold it up. So that's that one finished, so it's looking quite nice. It'd look nice on a mantelpiece. And then obviously we've got the other one we did, which is another dimensional one, a pop-up one. It will fit in an envelope. Let's see, how big would that have to be? I think it's probably going to be about 6 by 6. Yeah, 6 by 6. But because of the thickness of it, that is probably about half an inch. I would go an inch box or box envelope 6 by 6 for that one, and that should be fine. So yeah, that's it for today. Next time I'm going to come back with this kit again. Not sure which one I will do. I'm sort of really drawn to the panther, the panda, and the killer whales. But I also like the tiger. I'm not unoffended. I'm not offended by the elephant either, to be honest. It's all such lovely images. You really can't go wrong with it. And you can, you know, like I say, spreading that decoupage out, you can really make two lovely cards. Even if you decided not to have the decoupage on that and just have that as an image, that would still make a lovely card. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Like I say, I really do appreciate you. If you have time, if you like what I do, please do think about subscribing to my channel, and liking, maybe even sharing if you really like what I'm doing. But I'll be back next time, a few new ideas on this kit. Thanks for watching. Take care. Happy crafting. Bye.